Hey everyone, how's it going? MikeTheTech here. Welcome to the second episode of our GameMaker Studio 2 platformer tutorial. We're going to jump right in. Let's go ahead and open up our room 1, and choose our instances layer. Our instances is where all of our objects are going to be in the game. So what we want to do is drag our object player into our instances layer, just somewhere in the middle, and that way we can test with it. So let's go ahead and hit the play button. And now we have the game open, and we can press buttons and nothing happens because we haven't added any movement yet. So we know it's working. So far, it runs. And now we're going to go ahead and open up our player to create some variables and add some movement. So the first thing we're going to do is go to events and add a create event. Now in this create event, we're going to be creating 4 different variables. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just the assign variable box from the toolbox on the right side. This will allow us to set any variables we like within the game. So we're going to use H speed. We're going to set B speed. We're going to set grav for gravity. And we're going to use walk speed. All right. So now we have all of these different options, and we're actually going off of Sean Spaulding's movement system because it's a precision-based system, as we'll get to later. But we'll be doing it in drag and drop to make it a little bit simpler to kind of grasp if you're just getting started. So these will all make sense as I go over the code shortly. But he has gravity set to 0.1 and walk speed set to 4. All right, so now whenever you create the player, these variables will be set. All right, so now we want a way to calculate the movement in our game when we move left and right. So we're going to add an event, and this time, instead of using a create event, which happens once you load the object and only once, the step event will happen every frame of your game. So if you're running your game at 60 frames per second, this will happen 60 times. So in this step event, we're again going to use some variables. So we're going to, let's go ahead and assign variable. And the variable we want to assign is key left. And we want to set this to the actual keyboard reference that GameMaker Studio 2 uses. So we're going to use a keyboard check, and that's going to check whenever our keyboard is being used. So let's go ahead and type keyboard underscore check, and you'll see that it shows up here as keyboard check key. And the keyboard key that we're going to use is VK for virtual keyboard, and you can see they all show up, and we're going to choose left. So I believe it's all the way on top. Let's see. We have down, left. All right. So now key left is going to be whatever value keyboard check happens to pull, which is a 0 or a 1. So if you press left, it's going to be a 1. If you don't press it, it's going to be a 0. We're going to do the same thing for right. So we're going to type in key underscore right, and we're going to do keyboard check VK right. All right. So now we've done the same thing for right. Now if we press right, it'll be a 1, and if we don't, it'll be a 0. Now why do we want this? Because we're actually setting up a new variable that's going to give us a number that says whether we should be moving left or right. And the way this is going to work is it's actually going to subtract the two from each other. So we're going to set this to move, and the value of the first one is going to be key right, and it's going to be minus key key left. Now, what is this going to do? Well, if we press the right key and the left key is not down, then it's going to be 1 because we're pressing right minus 0. So it's going to move 1 to the right. If the left key is down and the right key is up, it's going to be 0 for the right key minus 1, which is going to be -1. So it'll move left on the field. So it's a really interesting way to calculate um, movement based on keyboard input. And I really like this method. It's pretty clean. So then we want to calculate our horizontal speed. So we're going to make another variable and choose HSPD for horizontal speed. And that's the one we set earlier. And we're going to set that to move times walk speed. Did I use an underscore earlier? No. Okay. So what this is going to do is take that horizontal speed, which is either going to be a -1, a 0, or a 1, and multiply that by our walk speed, which is currently 4. So it's going to say 1 times 4 equals 4, and it'll move 4 to the right, or -1 times 4 equals -4, and it will move -4 to the left. So that's how we're going to calculate our speed. And then finally, our actual movement is going to be assigned here. Our X variable, which is already built into the game, is our current location. And we're going to set it relative to our H speed. Now, what this is hopefully going to do is add the direction to our movement. Let's go ahead and test it out. If I press right, I'm moving right. If I let go, he has stopped moving. And if I press left, he's now moving left. So I think this system is really, really clean and easy to use. We'll be adding some more complexity to this, including gravity and collision checking, as well as drag for when you let go of a key and you want it to slowly slow down and stop where it needs to stop. So now we have a character that can move left and right within our scene. I think in the next episode, because we're running on 8 minutes now, is we will focus on creating our animations and having it so that you turn left and you turn right, and then animate your character so it shows that it's walking. And then maybe we'll even add some platforms to our game. We'll see how long it ends up taking. Thank you so much for watching another episode of our platformer tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Peace.